I'm working around here going out selling my ass and you with that bullshit. Get up and get up some of this here shit in here. Boy, I have to come back in here, boy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Grown Folks Talk. I'm your host, B. And let's get into it. So, as you can see, today we're going to be talking about Dr. Dre and his divorce from Nicole Young. I got an article we're going to look into right quick. So, as a lot of you know, Dr. Dre is a rich, wealthy, high-value man, if you will. And he was married to Nicole Young actually for 24 years. Things went south. But what I found interesting about them is the fact that they had a prenup. And as we get into the article, we're going to touch on that. All right, give me a second here. I want the... Okay, so it took them 18 months to get this finalized. And basically, the ex-wife, who is Nicole Young, she walks away with $100 million. Now, before, I know this is completely irrelevant to this, but I just want to emphasize this chest tattoo. This breast tattoo is utterly disgusting to me. I don't really like tattoos on women, let alone one on the chest. So I just want to bring that out. Lose points for that, right? I forgot to look up her ethnicity. So let me look that up real quick and see what her ethnicity is. Because we just want to know, right? Might be something else for me to go in on. Let's see. Say her parents was from Africa. She's supposed to be mixed. Oh no. I want a little more on that. Let me dive a little deeper into her ethnicity. Because she don't, I always assumed she was white, but now that I'm looking into it. She's born in America, but her parents was from, they're saying she African American. Oh wait, what was that? I think that was it. Alright, should have looked into this before I started, but basically, her and Dr. Dre had, they called it one of Hollywood's most messiest divorces. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they had a prenup. And this is something that Steven Jackson, if you saw that video with Steven Jackson, that he talked about signing prenups, dealing with these women under duress. And basically what that means is if you have a prenup with someone and they sign it, and for under any circumstance they were crying, upset, felt pressured, stressed about actually signing it, it's null and void. And that's what happened in this case with Dr. Dre, which I find so interesting. He got married like back in the 90s. So she's been with him for a minute, but she signed the prenup under duress. So therefore, it was null and void. So this was like a full-fledged divorce proceeding. So let's talk about what Nicole got. The splitting of the assets. And as you can see in this picture that I have, Dr. Dre threw a divorce party. As you can see, he's there with the balloons, divorced as fuck. So this was super messy. And I find that so interesting because one, they've been together for so long, which I guess don't mean ish nowadays. For two, they had a prenup. And we all know Dr. Dre is a very smart businessman. So we would think that he would have, dotted his I's and crossed his T's. But that under duress thing is super serious. Now, maybe not for us average everyday folks, but for people who have a lot of money, whether it's liquid or assets, that's a big deal because she wiggled her way out of it. She was able to get out of it, y'all. And let me tell you, this is very interesting. Okay, so let's get into it. It took 18 months of back and forth. Nicole Young, the Dr. Dre's ex-wife, walked away with $100 million. That was her settlement. Kids are grown. Let me add that in. They got 2 kids. Both are adults. Okay. Now, I didn't look into her occupation and career and all of that stuff beforehand. So I don't even know what she did for a living besides being Dr. Dre's wife. So her $100 million was 1/5 of Dr. Dre's assets. 1/5. Okay. Let's dive a little deeper into what the breakdown is on what she gets. And this is just, y'all, this is like, really? Okay, she's 51. She got $50 million lump sum at the time of the settlement. $50 million. Okay? I wonder if she was producing, making them beats, if she was the think tank behind Beats by Dre and any of that type of stuff. Like 50 million? Okay, where was I at? Okay, she is not eligible for spousal support. Okay, but 50 million, like what? That's the lump sum. Then every year following, she gets $1 million. Oh no, excuse me, I read that wrong. 50 million immediate lump sum, and then the other 50 million in 1 year. So in 2 years, $100 million is paid to Miss Nicole Young.
Really, nigga?
So, she left the marriage with jewelry, as well as 4 vehicles: a Rolls Royce, a Range Rover, an Escalade limousine, and a Spider motorcycle. I hope she know how to ride a motorcycle, because that would just be petty. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about the properties. Okay, so she was required to immediately move out of their Malibu place, and the properties that she got. Well, first she had to pay her own legal fees out of her $100 million settlement. Dr. Dre was about to pay for her lawyers too, right? Dr. Dre's 56. Dr. Dre is worth $820 million, and he will keep the lion's share of his wealth, including his masters to his recordings, his trademarks, and interest in various partnerships and trusts. So his Apple stock, all of that, that's Dr. Dre. She didn't get any of that. She mostly got liquid, and she got some properties, which is what I'm trying to get to. And we all know, I want to mention this too, that Dr. Dre sold his Beats by Dre to Apple, and he got $3 billion in 2014 for that. So just to add that in, okay? All right, this is what Dr. Dre, okay, well, let's go into what Dr. Dre gets to keep. Gets to keep, right? How I'm wording that, gets to keep. Dr. Dre will keep 6 vehicles and 7 of the couple's properties. A Malibu home, a home in Calabasas, and 4 properties in the LA area, including a $100 million Brentwood estate. Okay. So, okay, let's get to that. She signed a prenup when they got married in 96. Excuse me, I said 94, but they got married in 96. Which she contested, saying she signed it under duress. I'm telling you, these women, oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, she filed for divorce in 2020, citing abuse that caused post-traumatic stress syndrome. She said in court documents that Dr. Dre held a gun to her head on 2 separate occasions and punched her in the head/face in 99 and the 2000s. Now, Dr. Dre has denied these allegations, so without no receipts, we just got to call it a wash. We are not advocating or mocking domestic violence over this way, but we do believe in receipts. So, you can't just say people did stuff to you, because I don't see in the article where there was anything that pursued those allegations, right? So, I just found this one to be very interesting because, again, why so much money? We talked about this. We covered this one in the Neo divorce. And I just found it very interesting that you get so much money in these divorces and these settlements. Like, I don't understand. And so I don't really understand why $100 million settlement would be needed. Anything other than maintaining a bougie lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you can't have a bougie uppity lifestyle just because I'm, an average everyday middle class person. But did you come to the table as a millionaire? Were you in behind any of these hit records? Yeah. Were you part of the West Coast come up with the NWA and, helping that franchise? I don't remember seeing you in none of the videos. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't look into her specifically to see what she brought to the table, if you will, as far as earning this. Outside of being married for 20 something years, I guess you automatically just get a cut of your man's money. I know alimony and spousal support is not across the board here in America. It's select in certain states, but Nicole Young,
bitch, shut the fuck up.
We don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. We just don't want to hear it. These are things that we don't like to see. But I read in a different article that Dr. Dre was happy to pay her. Y'all saw the picture I put earlier where he threw himself a divorce party. Let me put it back up on the screen. Dr. Dre threw himself a divorce party, and Dr. Dre ain't stressing. He's not worried about paying her no $100 million. Oh, that ain't the picture, but I wanted to bring this up too. After he divorced and was done with Nicole Young, Dr. Dre moved on to this here. And if you don't know who this is April Jones. This is Omarion from B2K's baby mama. She got 2 kids by Omarion. So as you can see, Dr. Dre hollered at her for a minute. And, I'm just going to say this. We all know that Dr. Dre is an artist, especially if you like that genre of music. He's made his money. He's made his hits. Like, he's certified. But maybe he don't know how to pick women. Because that whole thing with Nicole Young and signing a prenup under duress, then he went April Jones. And we all know little Miss April Jones, she ain't got the best reputation either. She went from Omarion to his bandmate and dated him publicly, openly on reality TV, in case you don't know the backstory to all of that. So I just want to add that in, but let me make sure I get the actual right picture this time. Yeah, here we go. Dr. Dre was happy. He said I read in the article that he was happy to pay his ex-wife Nicole Young $100 million to be done with her. He ain't sweating that. That's nothing to him. Okay, so it's regular everyday people. I'm looking at this like, what? $100 million? But Dr. Dre like, it's nothing. Pay her money, let her go on and do what she do. He went on to mess around with that little young tender compared to Nicole Young. She's a young tender. April Jones. But he quickly moved on from April Jones. Okay, so at this point in time, I don't know what Dr. Dre is doing, who he's dating, but he's going on living his life. We know he did the Super Bowl last year, so he's still doing his thing, but he had a very nasty, messy, public divorce from Nicole Young after being married to her for 24 years. So fellas, I know a lot of y'all, a lot of us, this is the least of our concerns because, a lot of people don't care about celebrity stuff, whatever. I'm not like obsessed with celebrity business either. But, some stuff stick out to you. You find it interesting. But, this is the level of money that the average person, we don't have to deal with this. But this just goes to show you, this is the stuff that men are talking about. Not to say it will happen to me or to you, but this is the stuff that makes men not trust women. It makes men not trust American women. It makes men not want to get married. I'm hearing a lot of guys say, certain women are just for recreational use, which I do find that kind of offensive because if you're not willing to marry a woman and be with her, why even be casually, recreationally with her? But then it goes back to the woman, right? The woman has to allow you access. So this is just one of those stories that you can be with someone from the beginning, be with them all this time, and they will file for divorce and try to take as much as they can and wiggle their way out of a damn prenup and get as much as they can get out of you. She got 1/5 of everything, and Dr. Dre ain't even tripping. What Lil Wayne say, it ain't tricking if you got it, huh? But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. This has been another episode of Grown Folk Talk. Please like, subscribe, share the content. We'll catch y'all in the next one.